while having a diabetic episode behind the wheel, and that department was already having some issues. Our Jeff Todd has been looking into this case. Jeff, the Justice Department might also be interested.
Yeah, Jim, police reports say that this driver, they beat him, pepper sprayed him, and tased him.
It was 2 years ago when police found this car swerving along Tower Road near 120th.
They admit, like, we just went up there, knocked on the window, pulled him out of the car to the ground. Boom, start hitting him in the leg.
This is allegedly a wound from being hit with a baton. This is marks from where he was tased.
They just went straight to force and severe force.
Carl Ledholm is still in therapy dealing with the trauma from this event. His attorneys say they want to see this case bring change to Commerce City Police.
It's just poor training because as soon as the EMTs show up, they recognize the guy has a problem. They immediately start talking to him. He explains he has diabetes.
Ledholm faced 3 charges. All were later dismissed. 5 officers responded to this reckless driving case and tried to help restrain Ledholm. Some had life-saving awards from the department, but one officer was Kevin Lord, who shot himself in a hoax last year. Lord was arrested, resigned, and pled guilty to avoid jail time.
You can't have dangerous people like that in police uniform. When you have officers who are doing the wrong thing and the department knows it, they should fix it.
Officials from the city of Commerce City told us they have not yet been served with this lawsuit, so they had no comment. As for this investigation from the Department of Justice, the first recommendations have not yet been issued, but we're expecting those in the next few weeks. We're live in Commerce City tonight. Jeff Todd, CBS 4 News.
Jeff, thank you.
Cops mistake man's diabetic episode as resisting, beat, taser, Mace and arrest him. Commerce City, CO. Carl Ledholm was in medical distress and needed help when he was targeted by 5 Commerce City police officers. However, his innocence and the fact that he needed help was of no consequence to the officers, who mistook low blood sugar for a criminal act. This week, Ledholm filed a federal civil lawsuit against the department for the abuse during that stop that left him beaten and in the hospital. In November 2014, Ledholm's blood sugar began to drop, causing him to swerve while driving. This swerving caught the attention of 5 of Commerce City's finest, who pulled Ledholm over. However, instead of simply talking to the man and asking him what was going on, they yanked him from the car and began assaulting the innocent diabetic. It would have taken a simple conversation, and this never would have happened, said David Fisher, Ledholm's attorney, to CBS Denver. They admit, "We just went up there, knocked on the window, pulled him out of the car to the ground, boom, start hitting him in the leg." According to Fisher, Ledholm had scratches to his face, baton bruises on his neck. He was pepper sprayed, tased, and had 2 surgeries on a broken finger. Ledholm would spend several days in the hospital as a result of his injuries, only to find out he'd been charged with resisting arrest and failing to yield to an emergency vehicle. All charges would later be dropped. Read more. Cops mistake innocent man's seizure for a crime, beat him so bad he was hospitalized for days. They just went straight to force, and severe force, Fisher said. It's just poor training because as soon as the EMTs show up, they recognize the guy has a problem and they immediately start talking to him. He explains he has diabetes. Now, 2 years later, Ledholm is still undergoing therapy to treat his injuries. Ironically enough, 2 of the 5 cops who beat Ledholm down that fateful afternoon had awards from the department for life-saving, according to online records. Yet, instead of saving Ledholm's life that day, they chose to attempt to ruin it. One of the other responding officers was Kevin Lord, who the Free Thought Project exposed last November for dangerously perpetuating the fake war on cops. Lord was arrested last year after it was revealed he faked being shot at during a traffic stop. Lord claimed he was shot at close range while making a traffic stop in the 9700 block of Peoria Street. His bulletproof vest was credited with saving his life. He's since pleaded guilty. You can't have dangerous people like that in police uniforms. When you have officers who are doing the wrong thing and the department knows it, they should fix it, Fisher said. Read more. Video. Cops mistake innocent man's medical emergency for a crime and brutally beat him. The bad apple theory in this incident is entirely inapplicable as the department's history is clear. Aside from this federal lawsuit, the department is also the subject of a DOI investigation. In August, the DOI announced an investigation into the department for a string of abuses. Aside from Lord shooting himself to incite a fake war on cops, another officer was charged for inappropriately touching 3 women in his custody. Because of this recent lawsuit, however, we now say that the abuse is rife and, apparently, department-wide. Read more at http://thefreethoughtproject.com/cops-mistake-mans-diabetic-episode/#Mazrizlip1zoochkshu.99